Shalom Israel. I'm your brother Zacchaeus, and welcome to my channel, The North Gate, where I teach the truth for Zion in the name of the stone foundation that the builders refused. Quite often I wonder if other Israelites are reading the same Bible that I am. So straight to the point, I want to shed some light on a misrepresented subject. For the sake of sound doctrine and biblical educational purposes, it must be said that the chariots of the Most High are definitely not UFOs or anything associated with flying saucers, triangular aircraft, or any of that Star Trek type folly. The technology of the Most High is biotechnology. As we see, the earth is filled with living organisms, even beyond the microscopic level. To think that the Most High is going to deliver us with some flying saucers slapped together by some metal is just plain asinine. Let's go to the Bible and get the facts and a description of the real chariots of Israel. The book of 2 Kings chapter 2 verses 11 and 12. And it came to pass as they, talking about Elijah and Elisha, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire. You hear that? A chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes, and rent them into two pieces. The book of 2 Kings chapter 6 verses 15 through 17. And here's a little backstory. We were warring against Syria, and their king was getting highly concerned due to the fact that King Jerome of Israel was able to avoid all the traps. So he ends up finding out that it's Elisha the prophet that's telling King Jerome how to sidestep him. And he sends a whole army to shut down Elisha and the prophecies from the word of the Lord. Alright, so it starts at verse 15. When the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said to him, alas, my master, what shall we do? And this is when the king of Syria has sent a whole army after Elisha. This is the host that has surrounded the city. Verse 16. And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. Again, the chariots are flaming chariots driven by flaming horses, not a damn flying saucer of any type. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 48, verses 9. Who was taken up in a whirlwind of fire and in a chariot of fiery horses? Again, not a flying saucer. The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. So again, we see that the chariots are always accompanied by a whirlwind. So what? We know that it's not quiet, hovering in the air like some flying saucer. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verses 13 through 14. Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariot shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. O Jerusalem, wash thine heart from wickedness, that thou mayest be saved. How long shall thy vain thoughts lodge within thee? I don't know how much clearer the scriptures need to be. Also, notice that the only time the chariots come is either during war or deliverance. They're not just out there flying around in some tin can for the amusement of the heathen. Like you can catch the Most High slipping and record something holy on a camera made by man's technology. The book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Meaning you're not going to be seeing any chariots or anything else until the time comes for these things to happen in order to fulfill prophecy. And just for the record, again, the chariots of Israel are flaming chariots being driven by flaming fiery horses that are swifter than eagles, that either deliver or destroy by power of whirlwind, and not some damn flying saucer folly. I don't know about you, but I'd rather be picked up by a flaming chariot rather than a damn flying saucer any day of the week, which is most likely fallen angel technology, being perpetrated by all these space movies, conditioning the minds to be comfortable with the ideas of believing in and accepting little green men, flying saucers, and space invaders, to later stage some elaborate existential crisis in order to establish the fourth kingdom. We as a people have to remember it's much bigger than these heathen. They're literally compared to spit, so they can never possess the intelligence to hatch these elaborate schemes to plunge the world into wickedness. The book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So remember, our fight is bigger than just these damn heathen. And even though this truth has been tarnished by the ignorant and some zealous brothers and sisters with good intentions standing on a foundation built on sand, I'll continue to encourage you to get in the habit of reading for yourselves and checking every word you listen to and familiarize yourself with this book so you know this truth just as clearly as you know the words to your favorite song. And men, hold your brothers and sisters accountable so our faith as a people can stand true and our doctrine righteous and understanding by proof of works when it's time to face the Most High in the time of judgment. Shalom.